Okay, Councilman Sachsenheimer,
Here.
Councilwoman Cleveland.
Here.
Councilman Washington.
Here.
Councilman Evans, Councilwoman Borbray. We need a voice.
Councilwoman Beret, can you hear us?
I can now. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Hi.
Councilwoman Shivers,
Here.
Councilman Roberts,
Here.
and Councilwoman Valle. You have a quorum.
Thank you. Wait, I forgot the thing I was supposed to say. Marty, what am I asking for what am I asking to add into the agenda? I forgot.
Repair the fountain.
Oh, okay. Can I get a motion to revise the agenda to add fountain repair, as a discussion of the fountain repair to new business?
So moved.
Can I have can we add something, it's old business, but I'd like to add to the agenda the discussion of demolition of houses in Normandy.
Do I do one at a time or all together?
I'm sorry.
This one first?
Yes. Well, yeah, do the motion and then take a second motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda, adding the discussion about the fountain as amended? Wait, stop. No, Vicky, go, sorry.
Okay, and I'd like to add to the agenda, I make a motion to add to the agenda, discussion of demolition of homes, including timelines and contracts. We may not have a contract at this point, but rough timelines would do.
I think we can have more information for you in July if you wanna, because I don't know if we can do that. I don't know.
We weren't prepared.
Yeah, so I think that would be something that we would need to talk about in July. We do have the list of homes and
Right.
the company and everything, but
Yeah.
that's not something that we have like all the,
Yeah, so
it's probably like 60%.
Got it. So if we can just have it on the agenda, the discussion of the company that's doing it, just for a name. That's all I need.
You want a discussion about the
Oh,
company?
no,
or
I
you
just
wanna
like
know
to,
the name of the
I just
company?
want to know.
Is
the
that
name.
something that that they can email you? Is that?
I think I'm not the only one who might want to know that. Can I get a motion to add a discussion about the demolition of homes? Can I make a motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Can I get a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
Motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
All right, we're gonna go into the public hearing portion. Can you pull up Sam's?
Mayor, forgive me, I don't have it on this laptop.
Oh.
If
Can I?
you can share to the Zoom. Well, share to the Zoom.
so. What can I do about this?
I think you mute.
There we go. Okay, can you guys hear me? I'm gonna go into just a brief discussion about the February 27th meeting. This was a meeting, the first meeting that we had, that showed pictures and had some, how do I make it? How do I make it full screen? Yeah.
Right hand corner.
Oh, thanks. Is that it? Oh, there we go. Yeah, I got it. Okay, so this is the meeting that we had in February, and if you have YouTube, you can go and log in. You can see the whole 3.5 hours of the meeting and all the comments that were made. But I'm just going to go over briefly what we talked about. So the first thing we talked about was the history of Grace Street. So it was constructed in 2015, and it was a partnership with East West Gateway, MoDOT, Normandy, and also through federal grant funds. So the whole project started in 2025, and we are basically like 10 years into this entire project. So the reason why we went back to this is because we were having deterioration due to collisions. Chief stood up and talked about over the last 7 years we had 301 accidents, and we also talked about the maintenance, how it was expensive, how cars were destroying the medians, and it was basically prone to accidents. So $14 million was spent for the entire construction. So the contract that we have with Normandy's obligation is for the maintenance. MoDOT services the street, which means if there are potholes, if there are problems with the actual street that need to be repaired, they take care of that. We are responsible for the maintenance of the medians and any construction that area would need. That includes the irrigation, that includes the fountain, that includes the light posts, that includes the greenery that's on the side. So the money for the repairs would come out of our Economic Development Fund. So this was established in 2006. We have all of these limitations that we can use this money for. So this part of the funds that we set aside would be for the construction, would be out of economic development and taking care of the concrete and the flowers. So then there was a graph about the balance. So you can see here, at this point, he started to talk about how we started off with $437,000. And then over time, because of the maintenance costs and everything, the fund dipped dramatically. From 2019 to 2020, we went from $125,000 in the fund to $65,000. So this was the maintenance cost just in 2019 for the lawn service, the concrete, repair and maintenance, things like that. And then we had, the TIF was dissolved, and that money was transferred into our Economic Development Fund because you can't have the TIF for more than, I think it's for more than 25 years. So we dissolved it and that money was transferred. So now the money stood at the beginning of the fiscal year 24 at $432,000. So there were, like I said, there were collisions and everything. We came up with the stamped concrete pan just because of the deterioration. So this area is over where Natural Bridge Circle and Florissant Road meet. This one was destroyed the most. So if you remember, this has the same cast stone that is in other places. Looks like that. So those are removed. So this is what it looks like now. It's not that much different. And then we talked about the overall cost. And I want to just refresh people's memory that cast stone is coming from Chicago if we decide to have it manufactured. That does not include the transportation. That does not include the installation. Like I talked about the light posts. There were 4 missing when we did this. There may be more now. The light posts are also a factor when you talk about the cost of maintaining great streets. So that estimated cost would be, was for $40,000 then. If you go back and look at the meeting that we had in February, Sam also mentioned, and some people might remember, that he talked about how we actually owed the people that custom made the light posts. There was an additional cost that would be tacked onto this of about, I think he said $11,000 to $14,000 because there was an outstanding bill. The fountain, the motor, the pump, this is something that he also talked about. The motor and the pump needed to be replaced. That estimated cost, he estimated about $10,000. I'm going to talk about that later because that cost is a little bit lower. We got a few other bids and we have a cost that's lower than that, but the fountain is also something that's going to be, we have to take into consideration, and also the trees that are on the corridor. So the tree grates, they come from California. We have new tree grates that we ordered to replace the ones that are already there and that are damaged. So we need to think about that cost as well. They're broken. Some of the trees were destroyed by people hitting them or the wind. There was also a problem that all of the trees were the same. And so that's not good. I found out, through talking to people who know about landscaping and everything, you don't want to have the same type of trees because if disease comes through or something happens, it wipes out basically the whole thing. So that's also a cost that we would have to think about. The irrigation system is also a cost. To repair the one at the fountain, when I got the grant from MSD, they fixed that, if you recall, at no cost to the city. So just the irrigation system at the fountain is currently working now, but the other ones that go through the extension of Natural Bridge, all the way from Lucas and Hunt and Natural Bridge to here, that's still in there. That piping is still there. So the landscaping for the first year, it was about $40,000 to $50,000. That was just with the planting, turning it over, and everything like that. He estimated that going forward would be $20,000 to $35,000 if we kept with the same.
Who is he?
Sam, if we kept with the same from the numbers that he crunched, if we kept with the same design. So remember the first design that we went through was a stamped concrete. We had several meetings about it. It started about 2 years ago. The bid was $187,000. We did not sign that contract. The council voted to have it in the budget. We voted to ratify, the budget was ratified. We took it out to bid. That was the bid at the time. So we did not sign any paperwork in it, trying to come up to this meeting and other alternatives. So that 187 is not on the table anymore. I'm not sure what it's gonna be because the price of asphalt has increased, labor costs probably increased. So we should, when we think about this, the bids, we're probably gonna have an increase that's gonna be greater than 187. So like I said, it's been a 2-year discussion. These were the dates for the meetings that we had. And I think he put at the end, like, who voted for what. So the proposal in 2024 was February 2023, we talked about solutions. November 2023, the project renderings were presented. In July of 24, we accepted the proposal from Weiss. That was $20,000 for them to come up with the specs and the renderings. And then in July of 2024, through October 2024, that's when we have our budget discussions. We went through our budget talks, and we ratified the budget, and then you can see who voted for what. And then October 18th is when the budget was approved. The date for the budget is actually September 30th, and this was actually past our budget date. So we were rocking with the budget from 2023 at the time. So that is, this last one, I don't know if this got cut off in your packets. The green line, the blue line is if it was without the current project, and you would see that the deterioration of the fund would go down significantly by 2028. And if we went with the stamped concrete project, we would have more funds available in that fund. And like I said, the half-cent economic development sales tax fund is not just for planting, right? We could use it for job programs. We could use it for acquisition of property. There are so many other things that we could use it for, but the overall goal is for us to decide what kind of cost-effective, low-maintenance solution we can come up with to basically like keep the area looking nice. If you go to the next presentation, this is the new one that we came up with the partnership with Waste Management. So Waste Management has a very unique caveat that I did not know about, and the representative Todd is going to come up and talk about that. They will actually partner with communities to help with beautification, and that's something that I did not know, and research and asking and everything. So this is what they offered to help Normandy with this project. So this is not a project that has been adopted yet. We would have to go through the entire, the process over again. But it is something that we can decide if it's something that we want to adopt. It's the one that looks like, all right, so what's the point of the project? So the city of Normandy is partnering with Waste Management to improve the medians along Natural Bridge. We want it to be attractive, we want it to be low maintenance and low cost greenery, right? So that was the objective. When we think about the factors that affect the project, we have to take all those things into consideration. So like with the trees, we need a diverse assortment. With the tree rates, we need to understand that they're manufactured in California. They have to be shipped to Normandy, so that's a cost. They're custom grates. The fountain, the quote we have now for replacing the pump, and the company would come out and start it up and also winterize it is $7,000. There was some damage done. Someone went in, some vandalism happened and punched or punctured something in there, so there was water spilling out. So the sump pumps were working overtime and the pump got flooded. So it would be a $7,000 cost to replace the pump. There is a lock on it now. I don't know if the lock was broken or what happened, but there is a lock on it now, and everything, so that people can't go down there. The street lights, like I told you, they are custom made, and if they get hit or damaged, that is our responsibility to replace. And right now, we already have an outstanding bill about $11,000 to $13,000. And then the cast stone, which is also custom made, which comes from Chicago. We would have to pay for the cost of transportation to Normandy and also the installation costs. So those are the factors that weigh into the overall cost. This was the idea that came from the new Public Works Director, who I will introduce in a minute, and the Waste Management representative. So 18 areas will be planted in 9 medians, and these are the recommendations for flowers. So these would be hardy flowers that would need a minimal amount of watering, right? They would be good in the sun, and they would basically provide the visual aesthetics that we would want for the circle. So what Waste Management needs from us, there was discussion last time about volunteers and also monetary support, and also people actually giving their time. So they will have people to help us plant the flowers. They will donate the plantings. We need volunteers from community leaders, from Normandy, from businesses on a Saturday morning to come out and to help us plant in the middle. So that would be anybody who wanted to give up their time on a Saturday. We would not do the trees at the same time. We would do these things in phases, so it's not everything done at once and everything. This would not happen until the fall, because that's when planting is done, in the spring and the fall. So we don't want to do it in the summer, it would be in the spring and the fall. So just moving forward, that's something that we need to think about. If you're a community leader that's here, or a business leader, or if you would like to provide some type of support for volunteers or monetary support. When I think about monetary support, what I think about is an actual fund that the council restricts, so that only those funds can be used for the flowers and the planting and everything like that. So it wouldn't go into the general fund. It would be actually a separate account where we would only use that for maintenance of the flowers. So okay, so why are we talking about all this? So this is what it would do, and these were the things that Great Streets, the whole overall objective of Great Streets, what it's supposed to do: provide streetscapes, right? Encourage walkability and biking. We have bike lanes. Support local business activity, and the caveat that we really need to do, we need to think about reducing the long-term maintenance costs. We have 4 public works workers now. They have to do plantings and mowing mowing and other things around the city. So we want to make sure that we're not putting a strain on our public works department. And also later down the road, if we have more money to hire more people, that would be great. But right now, we don't want it to be where they're spending 50% of their time a day in the flowers, right? So I think that the flowers that we have the suggestions would accomplish that. So these are the next steps. The council will vote on how they wish to proceed. So we're not going to take a vote tonight, because it's a lot of information to digest. And this will also give people to look back at the February 27th recording that's on YouTube under the City of Normandy's website. So we can do nothing. We can keep the area the same, right? And explore different options. It would stay the same, it would look the same, there would be nothing done. we could adopt the stamped concrete design. And we would have to put it out to bid again because it's already been voted on. We could just put it out to bid again and come up with, get a number and decide if the council wants to go that way. So we get, I guess in a sense, that's kind of like doing nothing because it's already been adopted. Or we could change and adopt a new design partnering with Waste Management. Now, what does that look like going forward? If we say we want to go with Waste Management, we have to get approval from MoDOT. MoDOT basically tells us, yes, your plan is good, yes, you guys can proceed. If MoDOT says yes, and the representative from MoDOT is actually on, if MoDOT says yes, we can put it out to bid. If the bids are received and accepted, we could start construction in the fall of 2025. The plantings would happen afterwards, so the concrete and everything would happen and then the plantings. And please, I just want to note, that 189 or 187 that was on there, it probably won't be that much, just so everyone's aware. So there are two people that I want to introduce you to. First person is Todd, what's your last name? Hinderleiter. Todd is our representative from Waste Management. And then we have our new Public Works Director, Marty Nuss. We have two Martys. So Nuss is the striped shirt. And he has a plethora of knowledge about plantings. He has owned his own landscaping business, many years of experience and great expertise. So I'm gonna let Todd go first. And, okay, I gotta pull yours up, don't I?
Can we ask him questions then, or can we hold them off until after?
Hold it off, because we're gonna do public,
Comments.
yeah, comments. Sorry, Todd.
No, you take your time.
Okay, okay. Where's the Zoom? Oh, it's already up. Okay, share. Okay, where did it go? I see it, but I can't get to it. How come I can't get to it? Oh, here it is. It's right here. There you go.
Am I okay to stand over here so
Yeah,
I can see
yeah.
everybody? Good evening, everyone. Everybody hear me? Hi, yes? Again, my name is Todd Hinderleiter. I'm the Senior Account Executive for Waste Management that works with the city of Normandy. So I'm the liaison between the city and you, the residents. I don't know that I have to say it a lot because the mayor pretty much covered it. Very good job. I'll pay you the 20 afterwards. So a lot of people don't know what Waste Management does. You just think of us as picking up your trash and all that. Well,
Golf tournaments.
and the golf tournament. Very good. Good for you. We're so much more than that. The golf tournament is a perfect example because sustainability is our primary goal. And what you're talking about is the golf tournament out in Phoenix. That is a completely sustainable environment. So everything, food product, everything is gathered and taken to whichever site is needed to repurpose it. Okay. And not to get sidetracked, but show of hands, how many of you know that your trash picked up in Normandy generates gas that's pumped into the Ameren pipeline? I have one. Okay. Yes, our Milam landfill actually produces CNG and RNG, which is just basically two different natural gases. One is used for vehicles, the other one is piped right into the Ameren pipeline. So they purchase that from us to service the greater Metro St. Louis community. So a little bit of knowledge there, hope that's helpful. Back to the project. So because we work with cities on beautification, I just happened to hear about what was going on with the Center Island project, and I threw our hat into the fray to say, hey, we would love to participate in this. So as the mayor has said, we've had a couple of discussions. Marty, the new Public Works Director, has a wealth of knowledge. The primary goal here is to put plants in place that have a visual appeal, but low maintenance, drought resistance, so that there's no burden on the city and there's no burden on maybe having a support group that has to tend to it week in and week out, right? So the key here is that we are going to, if the project moves forward, we are going to donate all the material needed for this. Right? So it's 9 islands that we're working on. Again, Marty has done a great job. He's already designed how he wants that to look, and the plants that you see on here are the plants that we'd be planting in there. All great choices, drought resistant, low maintenance, visually appealing. So congratulations, good job Marty on that work. When we do projects like this, obviously it's not just going to be waste management personnel coming out and do it, but we do want to collaborate with the city and the residents and get volunteers out and schedule a day to do it. Clearly, the more volunteers we have, the shorter this will take, right? Probably need about 25 minimum. We can get more than that, and again, that's a combination of waste management personnel and city personnel. We get more than that, we can probably knock out the whole project within 4 or 5 hours. So, I personally don't live in Normandy, but from a standpoint of the projects we do, I think this is a great idea, because instead of just covering everything up with concrete, you can still have some detail and some personality to that center island. What we had mentioned, or what Mayor had mentioned, we're also going to commit to a phase 2 if the city wants to move forward, and I'll work with Marty on that, on the trees. It is important that we understand what trees are in place. We may want to remove some of that, so we'll figure that out, and that's why that'll be phase 2. That is pretty much all I have.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Want me to take questions, or we want to wait?
No, we'll wait.
Okay.
Marty.
Yep, thank you.
Well, thank goodness for them doing such a good job, because I have very little left to say. These plants that are there, these are representatives of what we're gonna put in there. The maintenance of them, I have no doubt, based on the size, because it's not gonna be the whole island, it's gonna be the tips of these islands, just for a little bit of color, a little bit of change. The great part about having plants out there is that somebody cuts a corner and runs over the curb and does something, they're just not doing that much damage. Those concrete walls that were there won't be there. Now, the areas that aren't getting any plants are the smaller islands where the crosswalks go through that have the concrete balls on them. Those are so small, we wouldn't bother putting plants there. That'll just stay clean with the concrete, things like that. What's kind of part of this and not part of this is that around the circle, the 3 islands that are closest to the fountain will stay landscape plants. because the two of them that still have the retaining walls with the brick, they will stay there. We're gonna be working with the people that planted the fountain, because if you've seen, the fountain is technically overgrown, right? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take some of those plants out, because they're perennials, and we're gonna move them to those islands. So we're gonna get some consistency, and that process is gonna keep going, because we can be taking those perennials on a yearly basis, let's say, and moving them to parks and to city hall and things like that. So, and those are things that if we want to, when a project like that comes up, we can generate a volunteer list to do some of that stuff. And what I would also recommend, depending on the plants that are coming out of there, if some volunteers want X amount of plants to be able to take home to their place, maybe we look and see how we can do that. Maybe we have a place that we can grow them on that are gonna be specifically for volunteers. Those are some of the things we could do with this, while still having most of that concrete, so that we're not cutting grass and trimming bushes 5 days a week. So, that's what I have about that. Who's next?
Nobody.
Thank you.
The mayor's next.
Gotta get my computer.
Marty, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
So, if you want to come up, you can, please state your name. If you're with a business, or a few businesses here, the general manager from Glen Echo is here. Like I said, Tabitha Locke is on, she's on Zoom from MoDOT. If I missed anybody, I'm sorry. I sent out the emails. Oh, school board member, the head of the school board is here. So I think we have really good representation of people that asked or came to give input last time, and some new people this time. Okay. So the microphone, it does not fit in here. That's why I'm holding it. It doesn't fit in here. So it's already on, so you can just keep it here. But if you are a business, please say the address to your business and the name of your business. If it's a resident, address, right, Kiana? Address, please. Thank you. And everyone gets 3 minutes.
Hello, Pat Belly, 3714 St. Anne's Lane. How tall do the grasses get? I'm curious.
Obviously, depending on weather and stuff, this year they probably would have been 4 to 5 feet tall.
Because of the rain.
I see that Colonel Sanders is on. Is that a problem with policing Natural Bridge if you can't see things?
No,
I'm
because
just asking.
There's not gonna be like 15 grasses, there's gonna be 5 in each bed.
Okay.
They're gonna be in a straight line, so as you're in between the islands and looking down to try and pull out, all you're gonna see is like one grass. So it's not gonna be.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, I got one.
So that's,
Okay.
Hello. I'm Cheryl Milton Roberts, and I live in Belnor. I'm also the president of the school board for Normandy Schools Collaborative. And I just wanted to say that I really enjoyed the presentation. I didn't get to see the very first part, but I enjoyed what I saw. What I really, really liked, just so that you guys know, was the care and consideration that was put into your design and into what it is that you're planning to do. So I really, really wanted to say that. I'm really excited also about hearing about the zero waste golf tournament. That's like really cool. And I'm excited to finally meet you because we've talked on the phone. So that would be great. The last thing, when you remove those pieces that are the concrete pieces that have to be removed, is there already a plan for those? Because
Some of the bigger planters that are out there, there is a plan for those.
okay,
Some of the retaining wall stuff, not a
Okay.
plan for it.
okay.
So-
So maybe we could talk about that because some of our schools, I know Jefferson School has a garden, so that may be able to be used like as a part of their raised bed or something like that. So just so we don't want to throw anything away.
Well, and so, depending on what the city is allowed to do, because
Yeah.
there are grants that pay for that,
Yes.
so
Yeah.
we have to go down.
So if
that
there is
slippery
anything,
slope, but
yeah, if there's
absolutely.
anything, and then lastly, I think we can definitely talk with our high school and see if there's anyone that might want to, volunteer, or even, some of our employees or board members or what have you, that may have an interest. I'm a gardener, so it would be something that I would be interested in helping you with. But I really, as I said, I really appreciate the care and the consideration, and I like the idea of having, the focal points of flowers and so forth. and the ease of, maintaining it, okay, so I like that as well. So I just wanted to thank you for that, well, actually, thank you, and thank you, for doing that, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
My name's Patrick Green. Like to thank you for the presentation. It was very well done. I just wanted to give some input, be it that I was one of the original people that worked on it as the former mayor, putting at least 5+ years into putting this together. One thing that you can see on the face of this, those were sustainable plants. You didn't have to water them. They were removed. One thing, just for your fountain, reason why you're replacing the pump, because it flooded. It flooded on us. When I was here, we replaced the pump, and after that, nobody was maintaining it. So it flooded again, and they had to replace. I think this is the third pump, probably at $2,500, $30,000 a pump. And so, for the board's awareness, you might want to look at why it's flooding. There's a hollow space below the engine room that we identified. We don't know why, but I'm sure you can get an engineer, you can get American Water to come out and take a look at that, and they'll probably tell you why. And that might be participating in why it's flooding. When we get these heavy rains, that thing backs up. There's a sump pump in there that's supposed to kick in. But again, if there's no one maintaining it, there's no one checking on that vault room, you will have problems, and you'll be whopping out $30,000 a pump. The asters that you see out there that are purple, those were long, sustainable plants that don't need water. The German sage, which you see in this picture, doesn't need watering. Rarely ever dies. And basically, one of the things that I saw after I left office was that there was no one doing any maintenance. If you take a house and just let it sit empty, guess what's going to happen? You come back to it, it's going to be in worse shape. So the purpose of the Hassan Economic Development Fund was passed by the previous past board, was that, as you saw here, what it's used for, marketing, economic development. Purpose of Great Street was walkable and economic development, attract businesses, small businesses to the corridor. So some of the work that was done was extra work after the Great Streets, because there was only so much work that MoDOT was going to pay for. So the board in Normandy made a commitment to finish the rest of that work. And it was some concrete work, railings, other things that were crucial, that was our participation in cost to this project beyond, and so we corrected, the project was almost $20 million with overrun cost. So it was really more than what's said here, and I would expect the mayor to be aware of that.
Oh, sorry, your time's up.
Yeah, so I was just trying to bring everyone up to date on reasons to why we chose Economic Development Fund, because the original purpose was not just walkability, sustainability, but was to drive businesses into our corridor. And in doing so, that would basically allow us to take that Hassan Economic Development Fund, which I got passed, and I think it was Bob Reed, who used to be on the board, so that we would be able to market our corridor. We're the only city out of 89 municipalities that has a fountain in their town square. If anybody else knows one, please let me know.
10 more seconds.
Huh?
10 more seconds.
Yeah, so outside of Pasadena Hills, which again has a fountain, this was to also sustain a fountain that was used in the Central West End historically, put it back to use, that we got for $1. So I can remember our cost. We were pulling in $60,000. I don't know how much. I think the last time I checked when I spoke to Sam, it's $110,000 you get for $0.50.
I don't want to speculate, but we want to give everybody, we want to give everybody the 3 minutes.
Sure, I have no problem.
Yeah.
So if I could present that to the board, find out what's in your economic development fund, and then please put it directly to what you have in here. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, he's tough act,
Hey, thank you. My name's Rick Nelson. Great presentation. I guess back in February, whenever the meeting was, this does look like a better project that was presented to us previously. Now, I have gotten some calls from Glen Echo because I'm a golfer and I have been to Phoenix at that tournament, awesome tournament. And they do want to know why the fountain's not on, because it's beautification, and then going in St. Mary's Lane, that's the entrance to the golf club. But this would be a great idea. I just want to know what would be the cost
Cost of what?
to get this project done on the road? Is there a cost?
We have to send it out to bid.
Okay, yeah, just like to know the cost, but thank you, I appreciate you guys, and board, just do the best you possibly can to beautification for our city. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Happy summer. Gonna try to go through a few things. I do talk fast. So kind of just to piggyback off what Mr. Green said, just being totally transparent. Those maintenance costs, they weren't really maintenance costs. There were a lot of other things that were stuck into that line item. I know some of Sam's pay went in there. Some other things went in there, likely some theft. So that dollar amount of it plunging like that was not all maintenance, because as we know, there hadn't been any maintenance done. It's lots of negligence that's been going on there. And again, if you do maintenance bit by bit, it's not so expensive later on. Just to reiterate, we do have collisions on Natural Bridge, but every highway does, just like Lindbergh and Olive, but their cities take care of them before they continue to dilapidate. Landscaping would not cost $20,000 to $40,000. That was a very, very high number. I'm very good friends with the owner of Garden Heights in Maplewood, and he drove by several times. It would cost $20,000 to $40,000. Very happy that you guys are going to be able to assist us. I just have a few quick questions. When it comes to the current planters that are outside now with the fleur-de-lis, are we going to be keeping those, or like planting in those, or getting rid of those? Those really big, huge concrete fleur-de-lis. They're going to go in there and in the ground?
So the ones that are, the one in front of Honey's, they use that one they actually take care of that one.
Okay.
The other two have native plants that have been planted in there. They thrived a little bit, but they're not doing too well. So we plan on keeping those, there. And if people wanted to adopt them, so that could be something that we could also transfer, or people could adopt the planters to do that.
Question. Don't put this on my time. When you say adopt, does that mean we can put another kind of plant in there, like for seasonal holidays?
If you adopted, you.
Oh, okay, cool. I'm gonna sign up for
But
you.
you're decorating and.
Sign up for the adoption. Okay, cool. So I'm probably one of the only people that have regularly come to city council meetings, and for years, Green will tell you when he was in office, and I would say, let's do beautification. I'll volunteer, and even did a small rotation with some neighbors who were elderly and couldn't plant. Like, let's go to Lowe's one weekend, get stuff for you, and then go somewhere else. I love what you guys are doing with that. So just kudos on this. I'm just kind of wondering what it'll look like when we do hopefully go with waste management, because this is much better than just kind of paving over everything. I'm sure I can get at least 1 or 2 people from Garden Heights to volunteer with us. So if you give me dates up top and I can talk to the owner, maybe they'll be able to kind of give them some kind of pay for helping us for those days. Again, we have to make sure we don't have negligence. I'm just wanting to make sure that when we put these things in, it's not drastic, but you do have to do some weeding and maintenance so it doesn't get unsightly the way that the fountain is right now. Oh, question. When they first go in, they're gonna need to be babied the first year, in particular those trees. And when they were put in first, they didn't have watering bags. And we used to have a watering truck, but I think the previous mayor sold that off. So how, is there a plan to baby everybody for the first year?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. That's it.
Thank you.
Next. Pass the baton.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure. I don't know if you can.
I'm sure
I'll
that-
speak to that more.
And that's.
Hi, I'm Dan Riley. I'm the chair of the Belmore Tree Board. I also organized Belmore's Garden Corps, which is a volunteer group. During the pandemic, we organized a similar project. Belmore has 22 public island gardens that are small and large. They're in different sizes. Some are medium. I want to come to you as kind of like the ghost of Christmas past to like warn you about some of the things we face, because it's a great plan, but I want you to learn from some of the challenges we faced and hopefully be able to improve on that. The first is, I wish we had started with a committee when we started the process that took the plans, created consensus throughout the process, that you have kind of a group of neighbors and they can be your core volunteers that come back to you over and over again. Because if you have a committee of like 5 to 10, those are 5 to 10 people that you can rely on to come to all those volunteer efforts. And it's a huge help just to have like people who've signed up and want to be part of it. And in that same vein, I would say, you know, look for your local gardening organizations. I know Pasadena has a gardening group. I know Belnor, we have a group of gardeners that are kind of fluctuate back and forth. You've got the Wayside Garden. Hopefully some of those people would be interested in sharing plants or sharing knowledge, sharing experience. We had a lot of success working with the students from St. Louis University. St. Louis University has a really robust volunteer organization. They have an online web page where you can add your community volunteer event and they show up. They regularly send as many as 20 volunteers to any of the events that we sign up. We do very little to kind of promote beyond just sending them the information about those events, and they come, they're great. Some of those kids really like connect to certain projects and they come back year after year. Last thing, once you have some sort of beyond just your public works person who's going to really need your support and ideally like a very generous timeline, like build a wall around that person, protect them. Because what happens is there's so many community members that aren't here. So they don't know what's coming. They start to see things getting planted and they go, I don't like this. I didn't approve this. And that becomes a real challenge. And so you want to protect your plans because this is really well thought out. This is a great idea. You don't want to have to like change things all of a sudden because you're getting one squeaky wheel that's really creating a nightmare. You know, you want to be able to say, now look, we thought about this. These are great plants. We can't move them. We can't play around with this. Give us time. So that's the last thing I would say. We had some challenges with creating safety for volunteers, and you're going to have that issue too here at Natural Bridge. So just keep that in mind too. Make sure everyone, you know, has a lot of latitude. Otherwise, I'm really excited for you all. Two final things. Forest Relief has a program called Communitree. You can apply for free plants from them. They have the best things for this situation will be their small shrubs or small trees, and that would come later down the plan for you guys. But they do have some great stuff that we used, and that was a huge relief to our budget. They have free trees too that we plant every year in our streets, street trees or tree lawns. They're quite small though. I mean, you're probably going to want something a little bigger. Finally, chip drop. It's a great resource for getting free wood chips. You're going to need a lot of mulch. A sustainable way to get that mulch is just to use raw wood chips. Chip Drop uses local forestry services, places like Gamma and Omni, any that you can imagine. They have excess wood chips. They want to get rid of them. You need them. You're going to need them to keep weeds out. You're going to need them to keep moisture in these island gardens. So use that resource. Any questions, feel free to contact me anytime. We'd love to help. Okay. And Cheryl mentioned Tees Farm. Great organization to talk to.
Thank you. I'm Cynthia Pender McCarthy, the mayor of the city of Pasadena Hills, and I would just like to commend Normandy to ask everyone to come in as a municipality as well as other municipalities because we all share the same concerns as what does Natural Bridge look like now as opposed to what we thought it would look like some years when the planning was done for the Great Street. So I want to share some knowledge that I've gained. This is my third term as mayor, and I'm telling you, when we talk about fountain and fountain repair, even with us doing maintenance on an ongoing basis,
there's always something unexpected every year because we do the maintenance, but we're looking at $2,000 to $3,000 a year at the end because at some point the pump stops running, you know. Because when you're talking about an older fountain and that you're trying to maintain the historic aspects of it and without changing it, there's a lot of maintenance involved. I know that what we have decided as a community is that the old one, we're now looking at repairing it, but we know that we have to buy a new pump for our fountain and use the backup, the repaired one that we're doing as a backup. So that might be something that might be under consideration. We do have 3 garden clubs, but and we depend on the volunteers. That's what keeps our city beautiful and the commitment. So I know that we will try to get our garden club to support some of the things that are happening as we try to improve the streets. I think that to get new people as they come into the community, because a lot of times that we kind of overlook, there are a lot of new residents that come in and don't really know the lay of the land. So if we actually advertise for new people coming in wanting to volunteer, they have that opportunity as well as students. A lot of students have to have community service. And so those are opportunities to gather volunteers. And that's good. But we'll do as much as we can, Dale.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, board. Hi, I missed the presentation, but I catch on pretty quick. I'm trustee Christina McDonald from Uplands Park, and I like the idea of adopting sections of the pots and the grassy area. And another idea that I had, well, I like the idea of adopting because I adopted I was born and raised in Normandy. And so I adopted a highway for my father, and since that is now going away, MoDOT said that that's about to go away. I would have loved to adopt something in Normandy, since I was born and raised in Normandy, and my dad was in Normandy. I would have liked to adopt an area on Natural Bridge. But I wasn't able to. I had to adopt another part of town that I don't live in. But being able to adopt something that you have love for, I think that will bring the community out. I think volunteers, I think Northwoods, they do a really good job with keeping their area clean. I'm sure those are volunteers that I see out early in the morning. And another idea that I had, the businesses that's on Natural Bridge, like the business, like you said, right in front of Honey's, the pot that's in front of Honey's. What about if you make those areas, make them responsible for those areas, or if that's possible, or just throw that idea out there. But I do like the part of adopting a section of the Natural Bridge, and as long as you guys have the tools and like the watering truck or whatever we need and whatever else that people will want to donate, then I think that would help. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry, one last question. She just reminded me. Not sure if we do still have the watering truck, but if we do adopt a portion, will you all make sure someone from Public Works waters?
We'll come up with the plan after we have the plan. Sorry. Anyone else?
Can members of the board?
Oh, yes, please.
Okay. These are great plants. I have some of them all in my yard. So if anybody wants to see what the Carl Forster looks like, they grow to a max of about 4 to 5 feet. They're not going to get any bigger than that. All of these things, the sedum is going to grow exponentially. You plant it, it's going to get bigger. You cut little pieces of it off, stick them in the ground, they'll grow. Daylilies are great. And what I see here is at least 3 seasons of color. The maintenance on this, and we have a little park, Valle Vista Park in the historic Glen Echo, that was all planted with natives. what we have to do in those areas is you gotta deadhead them. You've gotta cut them back, you've gotta make sure that you don't have weeds growing in that are uncontrolled, and you gotta mulch them maybe once a year. And other than that, there's not a whole lot of maintenance to be done. But if you let it get out of control, then it gets expensive. So I think that these are great plants, I love this idea, and thank you.
I don't know.
Somebody else.
No, I'll keep it. So, like I said, the next steps would be for the board to decide from the three options that I put, that I put in the presentation. And like I said, the cost and the low maintenance, and the low maintenance and lowering the cost of maintenance and repairs, that's what we're really looking for. We want to make sure that it's beautified. So I think this will give us more options. We have three. If we need to adjust it as the plan goes on or we get into it, like Dan said, that's not feasible. There's something here. Like, we don't know what's gonna happen when we dig things up, right? I think that will be, that will be the decider. But when we have the plan figured out that we wanna do, then we will communicate the plan also to the community and volunteers and things like that. You can certainly give your name to, even tonight, if you want to give your name to your council members by emailing them or emailing the city clerk or myself, you certainly can. But I think another thing that somebody brought up that I just want to point out that's really, really important. Somebody said that make sure that you protect the plan. And I think that that is not something that was done over time. So in my 4 years that I've been on the board, there were things that we didn't know. Who do you call? Who did that? There were a lot of records all over the place at people's homes and things like that. So we want to make sure that we're transparent with what we're doing, and we want to make sure that when we're not sitting in the seats, and I say this all the time, that the plan can continue to go forward. And if we find out that the plan, right, doesn't work, it's not cost effective, these things aren't working for us, we have to go back to the wheel and adjust them. I think that's a good thing. But you can see what the people before you actually kind of wanted from their, from the plan and like their goals for it. If it has to shift, that's fine. But keeping those plans in a central location and keeping that information in a central location, I think is very vital, is very important, and everything for our community going forward, and for having community support. I have to say, thank you very much for everybody that email that came. I know it was, we have, like I said, the Glen Echo general manager here, Tabitha from MoDOT is online, the mayor from Pasadena. I really appreciate the school, our head of our Normandy School Board. I really appreciated Todd for helping us out and everything. And the Missouri Botanical Gardens, let's not forget about them because they helped out too. So I really appreciate everybody coming. If you have any other questions or ideas or anything about this particular project, please feel free to email, to call your representatives, me, Marty, who is the interim city administrator. But like I said, the next steps going forward, the council has to decide which of the three things we want to do and everything. So can I get a motion to close the public hearing portion? Second? All in favor? Any opposed? Ayes have it. Now, can I get a motion to open the, wait a minute, where am I? Oh, it's already open, I don't need another motion? All right, thanks. Old business, oh, there is no old business, sorry. New business. Resolution number 25-31, a resolution of the City of Normandy, Missouri, authorizing the city administrator to sell certain personal properties. Marty?
I'm sorry.
Resolution.
Resolution.
We had 6 police cars we put out for bid to be sold. And we basically got 2 bids.
I'm sorry, we can't. Sorry, we can't hear. Thank you, sorry.
I'm sorry, no.
Gov Deals gave us the high bid for the sale of vehicles.
I'm sorry, couldn't
At
Wait,
30,
she couldn't hear.
Hold on. Hold on.
we had 6 used police cars in age from 2016 to 2018 that we put out for bid, for sale. We received 2 bids. We received a bid from Chicago Motors that has been a successful bidder in previous years for used police cars. And we also received a bid from Gov Deals, which does an auction, and their bid was the high bid of $35,000, some odd cents. I don't have it in front of me. But they were the successful bidder, and obviously it's property that the city owns, and I would like the council to approve the sale. And I said 35,000, I'm wrong. It was 53,665. Chicago Motors was 35,000, so I reversed that. So since that's city property of substantial value, it needs to be approved for sale.
And this money would go into the general fund, so this would, the sale would go into the general fund.
That's correct.
So you said we had 2 bids? You said 2 bids?
Yes,
One for 35,000, one for 53?
yes.
Marty, can I ask a question?
Sure.
All the Normandy branding would be taken off, or they take that?
Already been taken off, yes.
So Marty, the number that you have listed, that's for the 53.
$53,667.57.
Right, that's based off the sale amount prices you have listed, right? That's,
Yeah.
okay, that's the highest, okay.
Yeah. They wanted to back their budget.
Alright, so why are we going the lowest?
They don't want the highest. Yeah, because they're paying
Yes,
us more.
yep, sorry, it was, thank you.
You thinking about yourself. Oh, any questions? Oh. Can I get a motion to,
Mayor, there was a lot of commotion.
Oh, do I need to start over?
Would you mind just rereading the
Okay.
title of the resolution?
Resolution number 25-31, a resolution of the city of Normandy authorizing the city administrator to sell certain personal properties. Can I get a motion to approve resolution number 25? Second?
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Ayes have it. Number 2, discussion of youth council. So, where'd they go? Where'd the Larson go?
Everybody's talking.
Oh, he was supposed to talk about the youth council.
Oh,
Well,
I
you
didn't
can,
see-
Andy, you.
Not really, it's more Larson's baby, I'll text him.
You should have just grabbed the microphone.
Right, right.
Hey, are you?
We're gonna have,
Oh, okay. I think there was some thought that you'd be talking about the youth council, but I'll go tell Mayor Campbell that you're not here. Maybe that wasn't communicated.
Somebody had to drag me.
I'll just, oh, Chief's here, never mind, we're good. You're up, bye-bye.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So the Youth Engagement Council was a project that the city of Normandy has partnered with an organization called Project Lab on. Project Lab formerly collaborated with the school district, and they lost their connection through the school district after COVID. And so Ralph Ruffin, who used to be a police officer here, He is a part of Project Lab. He's an educator now down in Dallas, Texas. And when Project Lab was looking for someone to coordinate with, because they have a lot of grant funding, and I mean an exodus of grant funding that they need to spend on youth engagement and youth development programs in our footprint, Ralph actually recommended, he's, kept Normandy close to the heart. He recommended that Project Lab, instead of partnering with the school, partner with the police department. So Dr. Inda Shanin, who runs Project Lab, reached out to Major Larson and myself. We've had a few conference calls about ways that we can engage Project Lab and the children in the footprint in the school district to bring different free core curricula that engages our youth in different criteria where they can gain school credit. And they'll get school credit for the activities they participate in, volunteer hours, civic hours, etc. So after several discussions, Major Larson is actually the brainchild. We were trying to find things that we could implement and ways that the police department could work with Project Lab and the schools. Major Larson said, well, what about a youth advisory council? He said maybe a actual board of the city of Normandy that is comprised of young people from the school district and the community that are engaged in government affairs that actually will serve as a conduit to the city, where they assist the city in looking at things like planning, zoning, ordinances. And we hope that this will raise their civic awareness, their civic engagement, start to encourage minority children into politics, government, and the essence of community engagement at its fabric in a similar component to kind of like what you guys do. But we would need legislation and things that support this body, and we would need the backing of the council and of course the mayor for us to actually implement this. They've actually got some students that have been assigned from the school district, and we've met with them as well, that are going to be heading up the Project Lab advisory board. And so what we're hoping, and you guys will see soon, is some ordinances and some legislation coming to you guys about us actually making this an official part of the city of Normandy moving forward into the future. So this isn't a temporary project, this is a forever project where the city of Normandy will actually have an advisory board or a council of young people that are actually, and they're from the community, that are looking at legislation, bills, projects, and things coming to the city, and they'll be weighing in and getting their first shot at city government. So, any questions?
That's amazing. I think
That's nice.
That's Major Larson. I try not to take credit for my people's brainchild. We couldn't figure out what to do. We were like, what do we do with them? What is something that would engage kids and something that would also benefit the community? And we're here tonight with this meeting that you guys had, the public hearing, and there's been a lot of people coming to the podium talking about their desire to engage the city and their desire to participate and be engaged in city government or just functions that, lend beauty to the city. So this is kind of and aside from that, where we have young people, we're engaging young people who want to come in and do things for free for the city, and just try their hat at it. And I think that we'll be the first one that I'm aware of in this area, in this footprint, that's doing something so progressive. So good on Major Larson.
So you say young people, what's the age?
High school age.
Oh, okay.
Is that Ferguson, Florissant District and Normandy District?
It's Normandy Schools Collaborative. Project Lab has to work with the Normandy School District.
Okay.
So what is it? The resolution actually wouldn't need to be, would it be a resolution or ordinance?
It would be an ordinance establishing the youth council, and I would be working with,
I think he said September was like,
Yeah,
it's
and
not gonna be done until September.
yeah, it's gonna be a little while. There's certain preliminaries that I understand the students have to do, and then whatever comes to the council, I'll be working with them to make sure that, it's, it meets all the requirements and such.
And we would like to have a council person.
I'll do it, yeah. I was in a program similar.
And see, and here you are.
There you go.
So you already have students in mind or in mind to?
The school district will, through Dr. Inda Shanin, they'll determine what children are actually participating in the advisory board. I think that we're still at the implementation phase where they're developing the groundwork on the criteria of the people that would need, what they would need to have to sit here. Obviously, we want, the most aspiring people with good grade point average and people where literacy is high, because as you guys know, city government, there's a lot of reading. A lot of reading. So the school district will develop the criteria for the students that participate and how those people are selected. We'll kind of leave that open to them. They know their students a lot better. We don't have a foothold in the high school because that's in co-op's venue. But it's a way for us to engage all of the community, and hopefully as the kids are coming out of the middle school, when we do have a beat on some of the kids that actually have more participation from the middle school, then we can have a better earmark on them going to high school and start to engage them at that level about what's coming and continue to recruit people from the school district through this program.
That's amazing. That's great.
No problem.
Any more questions? Thank you so much.
It's tough to come and talk about somebody else's beautiful idea. No one does it like Major Larson, so I'm sure I didn't do it justice. I'm sure I didn't do it justice, but it's a great program.
Great job.
Thanks.
Number 3, discussion of rental properties. Mr. Washington wanted to.
Yes, ma'am. I wanted to try to elaborate or find out exactly how many rental properties do we have in the city of Normandy in total, and also by ward, because it seems we have, I'm assuming, we have over 50% rentals in the city of Normandy. Depends on the ward, but 50% I think is too high.
It is.
Sorry?
And how can we reduce it?
So, yeah, so I want to talk to Andy. Can the city of Normandy restrict the number of rental properties?
I don't think it's possible to restrict the number of rental properties except through just the normal, zoning procedure. But if you have a district that is residential, the use of those properties for either owner occupied or rental, you can't distinguish between those. Short-term rental is different. That's a different story, right? But long-term residential rental, no, you could run into fair housing issues.
Well, I know a number of communities that kind of do try to limit the number of rental properties.
And we could have a conversation. I would love to see what you found, and because I'm not aware of that, but yeah, we can have a conversation about that. I'd love to see that.
I've been living in Normandy since I was 12. Okay, when I first moved, I guarantee you we didn't have hardly any rental properties in Normandy. Now it's like it's an overabundance of rental property. We got a lot of people that's not taking care of their properties. We got kids running all over the place. We got pit bulls running around. We got people shooting, fighting in the middle of the street. We need to have a standard of living in Normandy.
If there's a way to do it lawfully, and that's what the council wants to do, I'm all for helping the council accomplish its goals, right? But I know that, some of the other things that have been talked about in terms of code enforcement, I know that there's the new code enforcement committee, which we're still working on getting together, and that is addressing some of those issues that are associated with rental properties might be addressed through that committee, right? I know we've talked about some ways to address ongoing issues through the occupancy permit process, and so there are tools. There are definitely tools on the table that the city hasn't utilized yet, and I certainly encourage the city, and I know that we are working on getting those tools ready. But again, if you and I wanted to have a conversation about some of what you're seeing, I would, I'm interested in it. So let's talk.
And I'm gonna be about that conversation too.
Sure.
I don't have a comment about that. I think in today's economy, with the price of the house, the cost of the cost of housing, and with inflation, and I think that restricts or limits people who do want to move into Normandy, who can afford to put down a down payment or can afford the high cost of housing now. So I think that's the biggest concern that we need to go into a conversation like that. It's like, how does this affect people who do want to eventually buy a home but have to go through like a lease purchase or renting? Yeah, I was in the same boat. I rented before I bought my house, and I rented in Bell Ridge, and I was thankful to kind of have that experience to help me be able to buy a home, because it's difficult to be a first-time home buyer and not have any experience or renter experience and things like that. So I think the economy definitely has changed, and this is definitely a renter's market versus a buyer's market. So I just want to make sure we account for that in the conversation.
I agree, but
I'm gonna be like a squeaky wheel on this one. We need to have an up-to-date housing database. We know the owners. We enforce the ordinances that we already have, the occupancy permit ordinance, vacant house ordinance, all of the things that we already have, but you cannot do any of that unless you have a sense of who lives in your houses and who owns them. So there are ways of doing that, that I don't think are real complicated, because I've worked with big data sets before. This is not that big a data set. We're talking maybe, what? How many houses are there in Normandy? I think there's less than 2,000. That's not a large number. So to get the data on each of the houses, if it's occupied, who occupies it, at this point, because it hasn't been enforced, yes, a little bit more difficult. But, you know, it's not hard to do.
But shouldn't we already have that information?
We should.
I mean, who owns the house?
We
Who
should.
lives in the house?
St. Louis County website has it. I know that there are, it's not up to date. I mean, you can get downloads from the county website into a database, but you have to have the database to put it in. And I don't think it's terribly expensive, and when we're looking at cutting back in other ways, software is a capital expense. When you buy software, it's a capital improvement. So that money could come out of the capital improvement fund. Training people on how to use it may be an issue, but I don't think we're in a position of being able to limit our possibilities of having what we need to run the city based on any person's willingness or unwillingness to use software. I just don't think we don't have that luxury.
I like to, this is Councilwoman Shivers. May I make a comment? I'm kind of leery about we don't want to down people that do rent. I've never rented, but I never down the renters, because we have a lot of renters that do keep their property up. And they also have their children well behaved and not tearing up property. So we can't say that that goes along with everyone that's a renter. I'm just, I've been an advocate for, just because I had the money and I can do certain things, there are other families that cannot do that. And believe me, I've helped and I've been on boards and different organizations that do assist single moms. And so we have to look at those issues. And Andy, if you could look into that and see how far we can go as far as pursuing a renter. You know, what rules are out there, what laws are out there, so that we don't get, you know, we could get sued. A lot of people that are quiet and they don't seem like they know anything, they get these lawyers with these certain organizations, and they come back and they'll sue you. So we need to really be on top of that. So is that something that you could look into further for the board, Andy?
Certainly I can, incorporate that into the larger, code enforcement research that I'm handling for the city. Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay. When you if Mayor Campbell can also quarterback what I'm saying, and because we want to stay within the legal boundaries. And I understand what the Councilman Washington is saying, but we really have to stay on top of the legal aspect.
Well, Councilwoman Shivers, I know that every renter is not a bad person, okay? But there are a lot of them. I live right down the street from a few that's pretty rowdy, got the kids running all over the street, running in your yard, won't pull the trash cans back. windows broke out, the landlord don't take care of them. So yeah, I'm pretty sure you know a few good renters. I can show you a few bad ones in my neighborhood.
When possible, this is Councilwoman Bure.
Yes, ma'am.
I just wanted to agree with Councilwoman Shivers. I am a renter. 16 years this October. And not everyone is the same. Everybody don't live the same. Everybody don't choose to live the same. But I think I heard our attorney say that there are some other things that can be done to address the situation with the renters. Perhaps some classes or I don't know what rules or whatever we have in Normandy. I'm going to look again at the ordinances, but perhaps we can instill some things that will help people to understand how to live. And instead of punishing a person entirely, perhaps punish the owner. Talk to the owner about their tenant and their property and not taking care of their property. I am talking to the guy who I rent from because my plan is to buy where I live. But there are things that I want him to do at my house that he's going to do because I insist that he gets it done. And perhaps we can do that with some of those people who own the properties where you live and in other areas, Councilman Washington. So that we're not just putting everything at the foot of the person who lives there. Of course, people, if you're responsible enough to rent a house, you're responsible enough to take care of where you live. We got to put some of that responsibility on the owner as well. Thank you.
I agree.
Well, I wanted to ask. I wanted to answer a lot.
Jackson Hammer is talking right now.
Oh, I'm sorry. Not sorry, but I apologize for interrupting. But I would like to answer another question when they're finished. Thank you.
Thank you.
I agree with both of them. We have to be careful on the renter situation. But I think what Councilman Washington is saying is, I had an unfortunate incident where the house next to me rented to an 18, 20, and 21-year-old child. I call them children. The mother came right out and introduced herself to me and told me they rented that house because she couldn't handle them at her house. So for 3 years, it was a trip to Hollywood. So what I want to make very clear is we're not here to get rid of renters.
Right.
That's not what anyone's saying here. What we're saying is there is a boatload of renters and we want them to do the same thing as everyone else, period. Nothing more, nothing less. We're not there to punish anyone. What we're saying is we need something structured that they have to abide by. The same as we do and the same as everyone here. That's all we're saying on this side over here is if you've ever lived next to one for 3 years, you have no idea the fun we've had. On Friday and Saturdays, it went all night long, loud enough to rattle my windows. And cars coming back and forth, burning up and down the street, it just went on and on and on. So those are the people that I'd like to address, not the people that do the right thing. So I just want everyone to understand, we're not there to get rid of renters. We want to keep things under control and just do the right thing.
Standards.
Can I suggest that?
Councilwoman Shivers?
Yes, Mayor Campbell.
Go ahead.
Is it okay to speak now?
Yes, ma'am, he's done.
Okay. What I wanted to comment on is just like you guys weren't even here or in the vicinity then, but when they renovated that building, Castle Park Apartments, that is a part of Normandy, there was a gentleman there that ran that building, and everyone that they had to rent, even though some people were paying, I believe, $5 or $10 for rent, but they had to go through a program in school in order to uh, even be considered to live there. And that's when he was the uh, the manager. And then when he left, it just went to the dogs. Um, People that the reason why the St. Vincent de Paul Society, which was one of the boards I was on, we saw how it went from sugar to you know what after he left, because they started putting trash out, diapers. I mean, it just looked horrible. And at first, it was kind of looking like the fifth class of the Chase Park Plaza when you went in there. Vouchers, they started, we would give out food vouchers. And all of a sudden, I was going through the paperwork and I said, wait a minute, we can't be $12,000 in the red. They started photocopying and copying the food vouchers and taking them to Snooks. So we had to eliminate giving out food vouchers, just criminal minds. So I know that it can be done, that if you stay on top of it and that you probably can school some of these renters and people that are on Section 8. And some of them you can't. I understand what Councilman Washington is saying. And I don't know if we could do that for Normandy or not, as far as having some type of classes or that would be mandatory to try to coach and teach these people. But I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. Maybe that's something that we can all discuss and see if we can come up with a remedy on it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I was just gonna suggest that all the members of the council familiarize themselves with the Missouri Fair Housing Act and know the differences between what the Missouri Act and the Federal Act look like. We have to, as a city, we have to certify when we get CDBG funds that we will follow those laws. And so they're not long, they're not hard, but just, Google them. And have a look at what they're primarily to not penalize people on the basis of sexual orientation, race, religion, any of those kinds of things. But poverty is another area where we cannot discriminate against people because they're poor. But we can hold people who live in our community to standards of what the housing should look like. We very often, other than with the change of residency or with a change of occupants, you don't really get a chance to look inside the house, but you do get a chance to look outside the house, and those are the areas in which we have to behavior of kids, make sure that the parents know. A little handbook for renters might be helpful, but the same kinds of things might be given to new homeowners as well, because a lot of first-time homeowners in our area come from other places where they don't understand that this is not the city, this is not, you know, Berkeley, this is Normandy, these are our standards. So having a list of the ordinances that they're most likely to need to look at least in condensed form, and have them in a little something that we can print every 3 or 4 years and hand out to people when they come for occupancy permits would be great.
Yeah. So one of the, when we had our last meeting, we talked about when, what is it? Terry was appointed the chair for economic development. One of the things that her and I discussed were home ownership classes, which I told everybody they're gonna start in September. But that's one of the things that that we were gonna talk about from September to January. That's gonna be discussed. Basically, you rent a house, or you buy a house, and you don't know all the expenses that come with it, because you can have a bad homeowner just as well as you can have a bad renter, right? But I think when we talk about like restricting how much rental property that we have, there are communities that have it. I'm surprised that none of them have been sued yet, but I will not say who they are. You can look that up on your But I'm surprised that some of them have not been sued yet, because I think that one of the things that you want to make sure of is that you are holding the people that are responsible. And yes, it is your job as a renter to make sure that you're not too loud, that you keep the area clean and everything like that. But kind of like what Julie and Beret and Shivers were saying, we're at a point now where there are so many scams that people get scammed so much, and I see this all the time. People are so hungry just to have a place to lay their head that they will sign anything. Right. If you don't have the credit score, if you don't have the resources to get your kid to this school or that school and everything, you're restricted in what you can do, whether you're a single mother, a single father, a grandmother that's raising a kid, an auntie, a foster parent, or whatever, right? So what we don't want to do is penalize those people for not having the resources to do that, but we also want to make sure that they're not preyed upon by people that are the owners of the home. Because we've seen those stories where I gave them my security deposit and the person just ran off with it, right? Mm-hmm. Or I gave them my security deposit and the house can't be rented, right? Because it has all the, now I can't find the person and everything. So I think the first thing we need more code enforcement people. That is not going to go anywhere. You cannot have one person doing code enforcement for 5,000 residents. That is something that we have to discuss as a council when we're talking about the budget. It is impossible. We have so many different areas. We have commercial, we have apartments, we have residential. It is impossible for one person to do everything. But then the other thing that you have to think about too is you don't want to penalize people that are already marginalized for something that is out of their control or they're being taken advantage of. And I think that educating a renter before they rent is good. Hey, you can call and check on that property, you know, before. Maybe that's something that we could put on the Normandy website. Are you thinking about renting in Normandy? Just give us a call about the address and we can update you and everything. But I would like to see, one, us holding the people accountable, and that means that if you have to get the landlord and the renter in here, which we should be doing, if those are the issues, both of them coming in, and if the renter says, hey, this is the contract that I signed, and I'm not supposed to be cutting the grass, right? Grass costs $80 a month, and it's not getting mowed. That's not the contract that they signed. So that's something that, a problem between the person who rented the house and the landlord. So that landlord needs to come in and account for why they're not taking care of their property. So I think there's like a bunch of solutions. I don't want to go down the road where we are like, people like this can't come in here, or we've reached our cap of this number of people. Or I don't think that that's a good way, because I think that could open us up to legal ramifications that we don't want to have to swallow that pill. I think there are other ways we could do it. I think there are ways that we could do it through punitive ways, and I think there are ways that we could do it through, through like celebrating people who are doing good things and and doing that. And maybe there are ways, like I said, when we talk about code enforcement subcommittee is is using the money that we have to somehow influx into neighborhoods so that people can get the outsides of their home. If they're a homeowner, if you're a landlord, you know, you should be taking care of your own property. But I think if we're citing people and doing things that we're supposed to do, we're just gonna drive those people out. I think if we stick to what we're supposed to do, nobody's gonna wanna come in Normandy to rent a house to somebody when they know they gonna call me into court. They're gonna make sure that they're checking this, you know, and everything. I think that's where we need to, focus our attention, so.
Okay. Yeah.
But the next, the code enforcement subcommittee will be meeting when? Since we're talking about, it's the third Wednesday of the month. It's gonna be the third Wednesday of the month. I still need I still need names, not council people. Citizens that would want to participate. So if you have not, I got 2 people from Ward 1 already. But if you from Ward 2, someone.
Pat Chandler had been doing it before. So
I've come to a couple of the meetings.
Yeah.
but
So
not
okay, so I got a 4. I need a 3, and I need a 2. So if you know people that would want to contribute to this, that would be great. Also, it's at 5:30, right? Wednesday.
It's 5:30 good people?
Yeah, it's fine.
Is that on the calendar? Okay. So if you haven't gotten a name, give me a name. And I think we got some good things. We're gonna talk about when we have our next meeting about the things that Karen and I learned at the code enforcement, meeting that we went to, so. Next, discussion of city communication systems, which is also Mr. Washington.
Yes, ma'am. Our communication with the citizens of Normandy is kind of horrible. I know back in the day we used to have some kind of system where they used to text us when we had bad weather. They used to send out texts and emails to the phones. What happened to that system? Did they get rid of it, or because we don't have any kind of communication at all with the citizens? We need to, as far as the meetings, as far as the events that we have, like park events and Jazz Festival, we need to send out emails or send out some kind of text to the citizens and let them know what's going on in the city. Right now, we don't have no kind of communication. The only way we actually can get out there is we put signs out, or if somebody happen to drive by and see the sign outside. Other than that, how are we communicating?
Tony, can I
Yes, ma'am.
respond a little bit? I think at some point the software that the city was using was changed, and the bolt-on is a technical term, but the auxiliary system that could be bought to go with the software that we're now using wasn't bought. Again, software is always a capital improvement expense. So there's stuff that you can do. There's lots of stuff. I have an app on my phone that I created in 5 minutes to collect the names of anybody who wants to volunteer, and I can customize that. That software is called JotForm. It costs $300 a year and it's easy to use. You can customize blasts. You can, once you collect the data, it's not that hard to do. It's all spreadsheet, Excel based, and I think we just need to look at finding whatever mechanisms, emails, texts, preferred ways of contacting people. But at this point, relying on print, you can't do it fast enough. You can't get some things out to them. So emergency response kinds of things, those are available. And again, get back to the same thing. If we had a robust housing database that told us who was in each house and had contact information, it wouldn't be that hard to link it all together. Customer relationship management is what it is.
Just remember this, we have budget talks coming up, and one of the ideas we could possibly do to help communication is to put something like this at Hosel Park. Because Bermuda Road is driven on thousands of people a day. So that way, it's on both sides of the highway. That's just one of the ways that we could possibly do this.
The sign, the $30,000
Just-
sign?
It don't have to be something that extravagant for down there, just as long as they get a message, as far as I'm concerned.
But I think, we can do something better than that. I mean,
For that $30,000, you could get some software.
My problem with the software is you have to have someone potentially here to manage it, and the staff is thin. And
Hard.
that's where I'm coming from, is I was trying to take some of the burden off of them, because they don't have necessarily the manpower, because there's people doing multiple jobs. And that's where I'm coming from, is to try and help them and the residents. But it doesn't matter.
But software.
I agree with that.
The right software can make people's jobs easier.
No, I agree with that.
Putting in some technology to support the work that people do. When you don't have a lot of people, then you have to make their jobs a little bit easier. And so, we live in an age where everybody's got a cell phone. And a whole lot of people are moving away from, we can do social media blasts, we can do any number of things. But it's a communication plan, and the hardware, and the software to do it. It's not that expensive.
And AI can help us with the communication. That's a thing now, artificial.
Mayor Campbell, can I ask you a question?
Hold on, Councilman, Roberts is speaking.
Oh, just a comment. I was like, today, there's artificial intelligence that can help with the communication. You just kind of feed it information and it'll be able to spit it back out to the residents on basically their need. I mean, as far as that compared to $30,000, electronics.
Yeah, but there's a lot of the older folks that don't have the internet, don't have a phone. I mean, I'm trying to reach a whole bunch of people, but I understand and I agree with you.
Yeah.
I agree. That would be the best way.
Well, if they don't have phones.
Wait a minute, I want to, Councilwoman Shivers, go ahead.
We could get like a system with the school districts use to alert what's going on within our municipality. If you want to look into it and what your school district utilizes, and then I can also look into what on the Catholic Archdiocese on what they utilize, but it's similar where everyone is alerted. It goes out early in the mornings. Then it just depends upon your timeline on how you would want that information given to the participant and the recipients who are receiving it. So can you look into what your school district is utilizing, and then I can look on my end to see what they're using, and maybe it doesn't even hardly cost that much.
Yes, ma'am.
Can I mention that that's all customer relationship management software? There's a whole bunch of places who do it.
Right.
You can hand build it. It's not that complicated.
Mm-hmm.
we need something. I mean, what we have now, we don't have nothing now, so something.
Right.
So we can get some kind of communication where we can reach out to the community. I don't care what it is, as long as we got something.
So when I started on the city council, one of the things that I did for my ward with the money that I got from the city was I made my own newsletter that I walked around. What?
You got money from the city?
Yeah, you get money every month from the city when you come to the meeting. You get your $200.
Oh, that.
Yeah, I got my $200 and I went and I printed it myself. Yeah, and I gave it to my residents. Yeah. So that's one thing. That's one thing that I did as a council person. The other thing that I did as a council person, was I took down people's telephone numbers and their email addresses. And I would encourage anyone, and even for this meeting, I'm probably texting 100 people on my list to tell them we're having a meeting, right? You're not gonna get everybody to come. Somebody has some excuse, no matter how many times you say it's the second Tuesday and the fourth Thursday of the month. I can't remember, even though everybody has $1 million phone, right? We put it up here. I made signs for Hosea Park. I made signs for the medians. Is it the best, most effective way? No. But if you think about the things that have happened in the past, there was no communication before. So when it came to like the funeral home purchase, the Sinclair station, like what are we doing about this? There was none. We have a newsletter now, which is coming out with some consistency and everything. That's something that remind me to ask you about that. But I think that there's more than one way to skin a cat, right? Not everybody. And when you guys read in the citizen survey, right? We have a lot of aging people. When I walked around, people, don't text me. You need to come to my house. It's like talking to my mom. Don't text me. I don't like that, and everything like that. I mean, that's how some people are, and they just don't like it. And I literally today hand-delivered my presentation to a resident because she didn't know how to get on the internet. Now, they have classes at the library. I think we inform people about the classes that are at the library. The school district and let them know this is when we're having things. I think we utilize other ways, but to say like it's atrocious, I don't want to go that far as to say it's atrocious, right? Everyone has a cell phone, like you said. Everybody has an email address. Everybody can look up boots on the ground and figure out the dance. So we need to just figure out, like, I think people also need to figure out like what's the best mode for you when it comes to communicating. And sometimes people are just gonna complain. You didn't tell me fast enough. I didn't get enough time, right? Sometimes that's just what's gonna happen, but I think that it needs to be like a bunch of different things, not just one particular thing. And I will always go back to this. We need a communications director. So when we're talking about the budget and we're talking about how we're communicating, someone who can give us that insight is most important, because we do have a Facebook page. I have a Nextdoor. I have my own Facebook page. I would encourage anybody to have one for their wards and then give it out to people so that they know. Post those things on your Facebook page, post those things on your Nextdoor, and put it under councilperson, whatever, ward, whatever, right? And then tell people connect with me, like by doing this. So those are ways that you can get your information out to your constituents. But I don't think there's just like one way of doing it. I think Normandy has done a great job in the last 4 years. We didn't have a Facebook page before. We have a website. Is it the best website? No, right? Everything can use some updating. Some people don't like Facebook and everything, but I think we're doing a good job. And I think if you keep referring people to that avenue, you can look it up on the website. You can look it up on our Facebook page. You can look it up on here. I think that will be a good way for people to get in the idea of, oh, I need to use this as some kind of communication tool. We also have a place on the website where you can post, your concerns or comments about what's going on in the city. So maybe educating people on where to go is better, instead of, sometimes when you give people too many ways to communicate, it's confusing also. Like, which one? I thought it was this, I thought it was that. Yeah, which one you prefer? And I thought it was on here, I thought it was on there. So I think if we want to really, really dive into it, we can, but I think that communications director piece is going to be really, really important. We need to have a professional come in and let us know, because we can use all calls like we do at school districts and everything like that, and even then they don't work out well. I didn't get the call, my number got changed, and everything like that. So it doesn't always work out the way that you want.
Well, at least making an effort.
Yeah.
Right now.
I think we're making an effort now.
We are, but a lot of people say, I didn't know about this meeting, I didn't hear about this, I didn't know about that.
And I think that, yeah.
Jazz festival.
I think that's a great opportunity for us to say to, if somebody walks up to me and they say, I didn't know about it, I'm like, what's your telephone number? What's your email address? The next time we have one, I will personally, what's your address? Because I put people's numbers in usually like as their address and everything. Okay, then I'll text you and everything like that. And then you just have a separate thread for, you know, like that, those people and everything. But in the time that we've all been here, look, I've been here 4 years, right? You guys have been here. We should all have a working list of people that we talk to on a regular basis. And I think the other thing is too, is getting out into in neighborhoods and like getting those volunteers and probably having a neighborhood group so that it's not all just on like one person. Some people like to be the person on the street that tells everybody what's going on. And we know who they are. So utilize that, right? They want to be the person in the know. They don't want to sit up here, but they want to be the person in the know, right? And so that's something that you can also utilize. You know, like, hey, will you mind passing this out with me or for me or whatever, or, you know, and we're gonna have the youth council. That would be a good thing for like us to do, like with the youth council. You know, if you're gonna be in politics, you're gonna have to get out and talk to people. You're gonna have to knock on people's door. It's really nerve-wracking the first time you do it, but you gotta get used to it, right? So I think there are ways to get around it, and I don't want to say that I think we're doing a much better job than we were doing 4 years ago. I think we're doing an extremely better job than we were doing 8 years ago. Because the stuff that I was putting in that newsletter, nobody knew. And I just came to Normandy, and I was writing about things that had happened 5 years before. And people had been here 40 years and didn't know what was happening. So you have to do your due diligence, like also when you're a council person, like making sure that your constituents know who you are and what's going on. So I think if we don't have the money for the communications director, we do need to think about different avenues. But also, like you said, that software costs money. All of those things cost money. And we want to make sure that we're getting the right one. That's the other thing. You can get software and you think it does this, but then a communications person will tell you, yeah, that's not a good one.
Excuse me, but
Right.
for a living for 4 years. That's what communication system.
Mm-hmm.
I was in the betas with Salesforce and a lot of other software. It's not, I built one on my own, first one in the University of California system. It's not that hard. It's really
Mary Campbell.
I mean, you could certainly tackle building one for us, and we could
Oh, they got on it.
They're all building.
Yeah.
Let's do it. We need something.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
When Mayor Beckman was in your seat and you were up there on the panel, I had mentioned that those exact words that were similar, that nothing is updated. I said nothing is updated. And a lot of information that was on there, even I mentioned it to Sam Johnson, it was information on there that was back 15 years. And so I don't think that it's ever been up to par to where it should be for the 25th of June of 2025. Because we should be able to go on there and see that we're having the meeting today. Who all was here? You know, it could be a little bit more in detail. We don't have to go and get get something to buy or whatever. We could get someone from communications to come up to Normandy, or now everyone is working virtually. No one's hardly going into the office. They can do that virtually, and then we could just pay them a certain amount from what they do in their office at home or wherever. So that's something that I had already mentioned twice when Mayor Beckman was there, and he was I was sitting right next to him. And he said, yeah, we really need to update that. We really do, you know. But that's water under the bridge. And I wasn't there when they sold the Austin Lane. I don't know anything about that. But we can move ahead on doing better for what we're trying to do now to improve our municipality. And that's with the students and also the elderly, and with our residents. I do keep in contact with my residents. I don't give out negative news of what's going on. Just what would they like to see improvement? Do they like what's going on now? Because I'm not a negative person, individual. I've never said anything negative to anyone that's on that board ever. I never have, because I'm just not, and don't take this the wrong way, but I'm not ignorant like this.
Thank you, Councilwoman Shivers.
Okay.
I'm not sure. Just if you go to the website, cityofnormandy.gov, on the side, there's a calendar, or not a calendar, but there's a list of events, and the meetings are on the side. And if you click on the link, you can actually see the agenda and what's being talked about. And if you click the link at the bottom, you can get on the Zoom meeting. So that is something that's always been on the website. And by law, we have to have it posted 24 hours before the meeting. So that is always posted on the website, and that information. So if you need, like, the meetings are posted. Now, getting to the documents, maybe that's a little bit cumbersome and everything, but all of the minutes, all of the packets, those things are on there. And like I was stating before, we also have a YouTube page also. So,
But that was just enforced. How many months has it been enforced though? That's what I'm saying. It wasn't there previously.
Since the 4 years that I've been here, we've always done it like that. So because that's the law.
You mean since you've been mayor, or since
the 4 years that I've been on city council, you have to, the meetings have been posted online. So I just want people to know that the meetings are posted, and the Zoom link is posted, and the agenda is posted. Those are things that are posted online on cityofnormandy.gov. So, number 5, fountain discussion. So in the presentation that I gave before, I talked about how the fountain needed to be repaired. The quote that we had was $7,000. That would replace the pump. The company, it would be under warranty. The company would come in and turn it on and turn it off for us. So it's not working right now because of that, because of the vandalism that happened. Mr. Nuss, anything else to say about that?
They're waiting for you to approve it.
Oh yeah, I need to approve.
From the day that we tell them that it's approved, it should be operating within 10, 14 days.
And how long is the warranty?
So the warranty, we had a warranty on it, but because that wasn't, like, it didn't.
Because of the vandalism?
Because it was vandalism, it didn't
cover it.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Is it insured?
I don't know. Is it insured? You guys know if the pump is insured? Do you know if the pump is insured?
I would doubt it.
So file a claim?
I would tell you, I would tell you, if it is insured, your deductible is more than it costs to replace the pump.
So basically, we have to decide if we want to repair the fountain by replacing the pump.
Okay, was it vandalized or was it flooded?
The vandalism caused the
flooded because it was vandalized. The pumps, somebody had done something wrong to the sump pumps that keep the water in that vault from getting pumped out, and so something happened with that, and that's why it filled up and the pump shorted out.
What, somebody put soap in that thing at some point a while ago. I wonder if that was.
What?
Yeah, there were bubbles. Somebody put some soap in there.
When was that?
A couple of years ago.
I think the cop campuses all the time.
I didn't know about the soap.
Soap.
How did they drain all the soap out?
I don't know,
Wait,
but I
since-
do remember.
since
at
you've
some-
been on?
Well, I mean, not since I've been on the council. I mean, I've been around here for a long time, and
I was like, I don't remember that.
there was somebody who put.
The water that's in the fountain is able to be pumped out, down through the pumps and into the sewer system. That's how we turn it off in the wintertime. That water gets taken out of there.
So that's where we are now, $7,000, but we need council approval.
So do we got a way of it not being vandalized again?
Yes, there's a lock on that vault now. Now, let's be clear, it's no different than your house. If somebody really wanted to get in, they could get in, because the lock is not Superman standing there protecting it. It's a lock. They could cut it and get in if they really wanted to, but the average person, not getting in.
Was the vandalism visible? Like,
Yes, because the guy that replaced the pump saw that there was a hole put into one of the sump pumps, therefore it didn't work, which is why the unit filled up with water.
no, what I'm saying is like, the perpetrator, like, they're not going into like something.
So this is a box that's in the ground, that's about as big around as that round table there, and about 6 feet deep.
So
And
somebody
it's a
climbed
big
down there.
aluminum box.
Could've been a kid.
Got it, okay, thank you, I just wanted the visual.
I mean, why do people take a bath in the fountain? I've seen that a couple.
What?
Yeah. I have seen that. I've
But they
seen-
obviously didn't use soap. They used
I don't know,
soap.
maybe that was what I saw. Cause I did see somebody like literally like washing up and I was like, yeah, we can't do that. Yeah, so, yeah, I don't know. I don't know why do people vandalize and do the things that they do? So, but people have been calling about the fountain and wanting to know, so we told them basically what we said, you know, it needed to be repaired, so. I would need a motion to, accept, wait a minute now, cause that is not on here. Do we need to have it, or I'm just asking for approval to purchase?
Make a motion to approve the repair of the fountain with waterworks maintenance in the amount of $7,000.
Waterworks maintenance.
They're the ones that have maintained that fountain for years.
Would anyone like to make a motion to approve the repairs of the fountain from Waterworks Maintenance for the amount of $7,000?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Number 6, discussion of demolition of homes. So what was the name of the company? Equitable Home?
It's,
The demolitions?
oh, what is it?
Equitable Homes?
Impact.
Equitable Impact, that's it.
Equitable
Impact
Impact.
Network.
Oh, Community Impact.
Community Impact Network, yeah,
Community
okay.
Impact.
We all got it.
One
of
Figure out
them.
what the
Teamwork.
deal is. Okay, thank you for that.
Community impact network.
And one of the homes that was actually on our list to be torn down, it's in Ward 1, but because Ward 1 is in Ferguson Florissant School District, they can't turn it down, so we're looking to swap a house for a house.
What was that again? No.
Ward 1 is in Ferguson Florissant School District, and the Community Impact Network only works with Normandy School District. So because it's in Ferguson Florissant School District and economic salary, you know, blah, 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 means they will not tear down the house that's on Bermuda. I think it was like it's that little brown house that was right by the school. So we need to swap a house for a house that's either in the second or fourth. So we're actually talking to the school board about perhaps them allowing us to tear down Wayside. The house.
Oh, wow.
So, but we haven't gotten a decision. The last time I spoke to a school board member, it was on Monday. They were having a meeting, so they were gonna talk about it. I'm not really sure what they're gonna do.
We can always use CDBG blight abatement funds to tear down the house.
I know, but I'm saying they are doing it for free, so we
Right.
don't wanna use our money. if they're gonna do it for free, they're gonna let us swap a house for a house. So,
Okay, so I'm not getting it. I'm not understanding.
so there was a home in the first ward.
Right.
That we can't tear, that they can't
They
tear down.
can't tear down.
So so I thought, well, maybe Wayside, the school district, would want to have that property torn down because of the way that it looks and everything. So we're looking to see if they would like to take us up on that offer to swap that house for Wayside.
We can take the plants.
No, Wayside would still be there. The house would just be gone.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
gotcha.
the
I thought it
house
was
that's
all-
like right at the, yeah.
Let me give
Wayside
you
was
just a
there.
little history.
Yeah.
Community Impact Networks was funded in the Wellston area by a gentleman who made buku dollars, and his trust left the money to Impact Networks, and it only could have been used in the Wellston School District.
Okay.
When Wellston School District merged with Normandy, Normandy School District became the beneficiary. Money can only be spent within the boundaries of the Normandy School District. The house that the mayor's talking about is in the Ferguson-Florissant School District. Therefore, it can't be torn down by Community Impact Networks.
Do we, it's a small house?
Is it a small house?
Uh-huh, the one that we're talking about in the
It's
first.
super, it's super small. I mean, if you drove too fast, you blink, you wouldn't even see it.
Do we have any idea what's going on with CDBG funds?
Well, that is something that we can talk about with budget talks, but that's not on our agenda like right now.
Well, but I'm saying that the money, CDBG money can be used to tear down that house.
It can be.
It can be, but what I'm saying is, you asked about the demolitions. So
Right.
that house was on the list, and
Got
I was just giving an update on what we're trying,
Right.
yeah.
I would like to.
But that conversation, yes, when we start talking about the budget in July, yes.
I would like to remind the council that the money that is in the Glen Echo Fund is to be used only in projects in the historic Glen Echo Park, and we want to hold by that. So if we don't have to use that money to tear down those houses, we would like it to be redirected to what we had intended that money to be used for and saved it for, was for our streets.
You already made a motion to have that money deferred to your streets when that motion was made when we talked about.
No, that was for the 35. We had already put money.
When we were gonna do I'll look for it, but when we were gonna use the money for those two houses, and then this community impact network came up, you made a motion to use it for the streets in Glen Echo.
Okay, I just want to make sure it's still there.
Anything else? Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion.
Second.
All in favor, roll call vote, please.
It doesn't require.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, thank you.
And just one quick comment.
No, Mark.
Today, our city clerk was installed as the
Oh, that,
president
yes.
of the City Clerks Association.
Congratulations.
You can give the official name because it's a mouthful.
Yeah, I'm not trying to say all that.
And finance officers.